For decades, flying technology followed strict limits. Now, those limits are being shattered by machines that hover, fold, launch vertically, and defy traditional physics. Some of these flying inventions look like they came from science fiction, but they're real. Join us, and let's explore the most advanced flying inventions ever built. Let's go!
Number 12. Omni Hoverboard, the DIY dream that broke records. Alexander Duru walked into his garage as an everyday guy and walked out as the inventor of something wild. The Omni Hoverboard wasn't born in some fancy lab with million-dollar equipment. Two powerful quadcopters, a pair of snowboard boots, and a hand throttle made from modified spring pliers, that's all it took. The simplicity is what makes it brilliant. Back in 2015, Duru didn't just float around for fun. He grabbed a Guinness World Record by gliding 275 meters over a lake in Quebec. That's nearly 3 football fields on a contraption he built himself. The flight lasted over a minute, which doesn't sound like much until you're actually hovering several feet above water with nothing but spinning propellers keeping you airborne. The Omni uses ducted fans that push air downward, creating lift strong enough to carry a full-grown person. Controlling it takes serious balance and nerves of steel. Lean forward to move ahead, shift your weight to turn, and whatever you do, don't panic. One wrong move and you're taking an unplanned swim. But here's what makes it special. It proved that hoverboards aren't just Hollywood fantasy anymore. Regular people with engineering skills and determination can actually build these things. The technology is real, the physics work, and the record stands as proof that personal flight devices are no longer science fiction.
Number 11. Aeromobile Flying Car, 3 minutes from road to sky. The Aeromobile transforms from car to airplane in 3 minutes flat. Those wings fold out automatically when you're ready to fly and retract just as quickly when you land and need to drive home. The entire process happens smoothly without requiring tools or manual adjustments. A BMW piston engine producing 160 horsepower powers both modes, giving you respectable performance whether you're on asphalt or in the air. Top speed hits 200 kilometers per hour in flight, and you can cover up to 1,000 kilometers on a single tank of regular gasoline. That range means serious cross-country travel without constantly searching for refueling stops. In June 2021, the Aeromobile completed a test flight between 2 Slovakian cities, Nitra and Bratislava, covering 95 kilometers in under 35 minutes. That same trip by car through regular traffic would take at least twice as long. The flight proved that this isn't vaporware or a concept that only works in computer simulations. The Aeromobile actually flies, actually drives, and actually transitions between both modes reliably. The cabin seats 2 comfortably, with enough room for luggage behind the seats. The dashboard includes both driving and flying instruments, switching between layouts depending on current mode. When you're driving, you see speedometer, fuel gauge, and navigation. Switch to flight mode, and the display changes to show altitude, airspeed, artificial horizon, and other aviation instruments. The Aeromobile needs a runway for takeoff and landing, so you can't just launch from your driveway. But any small airstrip works fine, and there are thousands of those scattered around the world. This vehicle represents practical flying car design, focused on real-world usability rather than flashy stunts that don't translate to daily use. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are you a naturally curious person? If you're watching, I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. This space is made for people like us. To ensure you're always part of this community and receive all our latest discoveries, you just need to do one thing: subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to stay connected with us. Okay, now that you're part of our Legion of the Curious, let's move on to the next item.
Number 10. Scorpion 3 Hoverbike, when motorcycles meet quadcopters. The Scorpion 3 looks like someone took a motorcycle and replaced the wheels with massive propellers, which is basically what happened. This hoverbike combines classic motorcycle design with quadcopter drone technology to create something that can cruise down a street or lift up to 6 meters off the ground. The frame is built from lightweight materials, strong enough to handle the stress of flight, and the electric motor provides enough thrust to carry one person at speeds up to 96 kilometers per hour. That's highway speed, except you're floating above traffic instead of sitting in it. The flight time sits at about 25 minutes per charge, which might not sound like much until you consider how far you can travel in that time without a single red light or speed bump slowing you down. The Scorpion 3 excels in environments where traditional vehicles struggle. Sand dunes, narrow alleys, disaster zones, this hoverbike handles them all. Dubai's police force has shown serious interest in adding these to their fleet, and it's easy to see why. Imagine responding to an emergency call and simply flying over gridlocked traffic to arrive in minutes instead of hours. The controls mimic motorcycle handling, so anyone comfortable on two wheels can adapt quickly. Throttle controls altitude and forward speed, while handlebar movements guide direction. The stability system keeps the bike level, even when you're making sharp turns or dealing with crosswinds. This isn't some distant future concept gathering dust in a warehouse. The Scorpion 3 exists, it flies, and it's already attracting attention from law enforcement and private buyers worldwide.
Number 9. Dragonair Multicopter. Soar like you're riding a mythical beast. Designer and pilot Mar Khan created the Dragonair with one goal: make people feel like they're riding an actual dragon through the sky. 8 powerful motors mounted on pods provide the thrust needed to lift both the frame and rider up to 30.5 meters above the ground. The flight experience feels more like gliding than traditional powered flight. You're not fighting against gravity or wrestling with controls. You simply float forward at 30 kilometers per hour for up to 30 minutes, watching the ground slowly pass beneath you. The sensation is smooth and almost meditative, completely different from the violent thrust of a jetpack or the mechanical vibration of a helicopter. Safety features include a parachute system that deploys if you lose power completely. Even if half the motors fail simultaneously, the Dragonair keeps flying. The redundancy built into the design means no single point of failure drops you out of the sky. The control system automatically compensates for failed motors by increasing power to the remaining ones and adjusting flight dynamics to maintain stability. The Dragonair serves purposes beyond recreational flying. Search and rescue teams could use it to reach stranded hikers in mountainous terrain. Medical teams could transport supplies to remote locations unreachable by vehicle. The relatively quiet motors mean wildlife doesn't scatter as much compared to loud helicopters. The open-air design gives pilots an unobstructed view in all directions, crucial for missions requiring precise navigation or visual searches. This multicopter proves that practical flying devices don't need to sacrifice the emotional impact of flight. The Dragonair delivers both functional utility and the pure joy of soaring through the air like something out of mythology.
Number 8. Manned Multicopter Chair. Have breakfast while beating traffic. Swedish engineer Axel Borg looked at traffic jams and thought, there has to be a better way. His solution? A flying chair that lets you eat breakfast while commuting above gridlocked streets. The manned multicopter looks exactly like what it sounds like, a comfortable chair with propellers mounted around it. Multiple electric motors provide the lift, and the control system keeps everything stable enough to sip coffee while floating through the air. The chair can carry up to 163 kilograms, which covers most riders plus whatever supplies they're bringing to work. The frame is built from lightweight materials that don't sacrifice strength for weight savings. Those propellers spin fast enough to generate serious thrust without creating unbearable noise. You won't have a quiet conversation mid-flight, but you won't need earplugs either. Controls are straightforward. A joystick or handlebar system guides direction and altitude. The multicopter responds smoothly to inputs, ascending and descending without sudden jerks that would spill your coffee. The safety systems include automatic stabilization that corrects for wind gusts and prevents tipping. If one motor fails, the others compensate immediately to maintain level flight. Emergency landing procedures bring you down safely even if multiple systems malfunction. The chair concept solves a problem most flying devices ignore: comfort. Standing on a hoverboard or strapping into a jetpack works for short trips, but longer commutes need somewhere to sit. Borg's design acknowledges that people want to relax during travel, not fight to maintain balance the entire time. This flying chair turns commuting from a stressful grind into a peaceful float above the chaos, proving that sometimes the simplest ideas are the ones that actually work.
Number 7. Jetson 1, the electric personal aircraft that looks like a sci-fi dream. The Jetson 1 looks like it flew straight out of a cyberpunk movie. This aluminum frame surrounds a single seat with 8 electric motors mounted on 4 arms extending outward. The minimalist design keeps weight down while maximizing performance. Top speed reaches 102 kilometers per hour, fast enough to make commuting by air actually practical for distances up to 20 kilometers. The entire aircraft weighs just 86 kilograms empty, which means it qualifies as an ultralight in most countries and doesn't require a pilot's license to operate. The control system uses a simple joystick and throttle setup. Push forward to go, pull back to stop, move left and right to turn. The flight computer handles all the complex calculations needed to keep you stable and flying smoothly. Even complete beginners can achieve controlled flight after basic instruction. Safety features include a ballistic parachute that deploys if you lose control or suffer catastrophic failure. The redundant motor design means losing one or even two motors doesn't bring you down, the others compensate automatically. A collision avoidance system uses sensors to detect obstacles and alert you before you fly into trees, buildings, or other aircraft. The battery pack provides about 20 minutes of flight time, which doesn't sound like much until you consider how far you can travel when you're not stuck in traffic. 20 minutes of flight at 100 kilometers per hour covers 33 kilometers. That's a serious commute in most cities. Jetson started delivering production units in 2022, making this one of the first truly personal electric aircraft available to regular consumers. The price sits around $92,000, expensive but not supercar expensive. Early customers report that the learning curve is surprisingly gentle and the flight experience delivers everything the marketing promises.
Number 6. Skyrunner, the flying dune buggy that combines off-road and air travel. Skyrunner took a dune buggy chassis, added a parafoil wing and a large propeller, and created something that drives like an off-road vehicle but flies like a powered parachute. On the ground, it handles rough terrain with suspension designed for jumps, rocks, and sand. When you want to fly, you unfold the parafoil, fire up the propeller, and accelerate down a stretch of flat ground. The wing inflates and lifts you into the air within seconds. Once airborne, you're cruising at 65 kilometers per hour at altitudes up to 4,500 meters. The flight experience feels closer to hang gliding and flying a plane. You're sitting in an open cockpit with wind rushing past while the parafoil gently holds you aloft. The motor and propeller provide forward thrust while the wing handles lift. Controls are simple. Pull left to turn left, pull right to turn right. Adjust throttle for altitude changes. The beauty of the Skyrunner is its versatility. Drive through remote wilderness areas that roads don't reach, then take off and fly over obstacles like rivers, canyons, or mountains. Landing requires finding flat ground about 100 meters long, which sounds limiting until you realize how much empty space exists in rural and wilderness areas. The vehicle fits in a standard shipping container, making it surprisingly portable for something that drives and flies. Adventurers have used Skyrunners to explore remote regions of Africa, South America, and the American Southwest. The combination of ground mobility and flight capability opens up territory that would be impossible to access otherwise. The Skyrunner requires a sport pilot license in the United States, which is easier to obtain than a full private pilot certificate. The training focuses on both ground handling and flight operations, ensuring pilots can safely manage both domains.
Number 5. Copter Pack. Transform into your inner action hero. Traditional jetpacks use jet engines that guzzle fuel and sound like a fighter jet taking off in your backyard. The Copter Pack flips that concept completely. Instead of jets, you get two 90-centimeter electric propellers mounted on a lightweight carbon fiber frame that straps onto your back like a high-tech backpack. The batteries are built right into the frame, keeping everything compact and balanced. Once you fire it up, those propellers spin fast enough to lift you straight off the ground. You can hit speeds of 70 kilometers per hour and stay airborne for about 20 minutes on a single charge. The controls are intuitive. Lean in the direction you want to go, and the Copter Pack responds. It's like being a human helicopter, minus the massive rotor blades overhead. The electric motors mean it's quieter than fuel-based systems, though you'll definitely still hear the whir of those propellers cutting through the air. Safety systems include automatic stabilization and emergency landing protocols. If the battery starts running low, the system alerts you with plenty of time to find a landing spot. The Copter Pack isn't just about looking cool, though it absolutely does that. Military and emergency responders could use this to access locations where helicopters can't land. Construction workers could inspect tall structures without scaffolding. The possibilities expand once you remove the limitations of ground-based travel. This device represents a shift from bulky, dangerous jetpack designs to something more practical and accessible.
You're not going to commute to work in one anytime soon, but for specific applications requiring quick aerial mobility, the Copter Pack delivers exactly what it promises.
Number 4. Lift Aircraft Hexa, the flying experience anyone can handle. Picture this. You're sitting in what looks like a giant drone, cruising through the air at 100 kilometers per hour, and you don't even need a pilot's license. The Hexa from Lift Aircraft makes that possible. This thing has 18 electric motors powering 18 individual propellers, which means if one fails, you've got 17 backups. That's the kind of redundancy that keeps you breathing easy when you're floating 15 feet above the ground. The onboard computer does most of the heavy lifting, literally and figuratively. After a few training sessions, you're ready to fly. And if you're not feeling confident, just switch to autopilot mode and let the machine take over. The Hexa handles wind gusts like a champ and has an automatic stabilization system that kicks in if things get dicey. Even if you lose power completely, it doesn't just drop like a rock. The descent system brings you down gently, and those built-in floats mean you can even land on water without sinking. Each flight lasts about 15 minutes on a full charge, which is plenty of time to experience what it feels like to pilot your own personal aircraft. The cockpit is open air, so you feel the wind and the freedom without being trapped in a metal box. Lyft designed this for recreational flying, but the applications go way beyond joyrides. Search and rescue teams could use these to reach remote areas. Photographers could capture angles impossible from the ground. The Hexa represents a future where personal flight isn't just for the wealthy or the highly trained. It's for anyone willing to learn. Number 3. Arcaboard, the real hoverboard that moves in every direction. The Arcaboard looks like someone stretched a domino to ridiculous proportions and filled it with 36 electric ducted fans. This Romanian creation from Arca Space Corporation can lift up to 30 centimeters off the ground and move in any direction at 20 kilometers per hour. The dimensions sit at 145 centimeters long, 76 centimeters wide, and 15 centimeters thick, compact enough to carry, but substantial enough to support a rider. Those 36 fans generate a combined 272 horsepower, which is more than most sports cars produce. All that power creates enough thrust to hover a person steadily, even when they're moving. The stabilization system is so advanced it rivals professional camera gimbals, keeping the board level regardless of rider movement. Operating the Arcaboard happens 2 ways. Download the app, connect via Bluetooth, and tilt your phone in the direction you want to travel. The board follows those commands with remarkable precision. Or skip the phone entirely, step on, and control it with body weight shifts like a traditional hoverboard. Lean forward to move ahead, lean back to slow down, shift your weight left or right to turn. The sensors detect these movements and adjust the fan speeds instantly to maintain balance and direction. The flight time currently maxes out at 6 minutes per charge, which is the main limitation. 6 minutes doesn't get you far, but it's enough to experience genuine hovering and understand what personal levitation feels like. The Arcaboard proves that Back to the Future's vision wasn't completely impossible. It just needed better battery technology and a lot of engineering to become real. Number 3. Arcaboard, the real hoverboard that moves in every direction. The Arcaboard looks like someone stretched a domino to ridiculous proportions and filled it with 36 electric ducted fans. This Romanian creation from Arca Space Corporation can lift up to 30 centimeters off the ground and move in any direction at 20 kilometers per hour. The dimensions sit at 145 centimeters long, 76 centimeters wide, and 15 centimeters thick, compact enough to carry, but substantial enough to support a rider. Those 36 fans generate a combined 272 horsepower, which is more than most sports cars produce. All that power creates enough thrust to hover a person steadily, even when they're moving. The stabilization system is so advanced it rivals professional camera gimbals, keeping the board level regardless of rider movement. Operating the Arcaboard happens 2 ways. Download the app, connect via Bluetooth, and tilt your phone in the direction you want to travel. The board follows those commands with remarkable precision. Or skip the phone entirely, step on, and control it with body weight shifts like a traditional hoverboard. Lean forward to move ahead, lean back to slow down, shift your weight left or right to turn. The sensors detect these movements and adjust the fan speeds instantly to maintain balance and direction. The flight time currently maxes out at 6 minutes per charge, which is the main limitation. 6 minutes doesn't get you far, but it's enough to experience genuine hovering and understand what personal levitation feels like.
The Arca-board proves that Back to the Future's vision wasn't completely impossible. It just needed better battery technology and a lot of engineering to become real.
Number 3. Arca-board, the real hoverboard that moves in every direction. The Arca-board looks like someone stretched a domino to ridiculous proportions and filled it with 36 electric ducted fans. This Romanian creation from Arca Space Corporation can lift up to 30 centimeters off the ground and move in any direction at 20 kilometers per hour. The dimensions sit at 145 centimeters long, 76 centimeters wide, and 15 centimeters thick, compact enough to carry, but substantial enough to support a rider. Those 36 fans generate a combined 272 horsepower, which is more than most sports cars produce. All that power creates enough thrust to hover a person steadily, even when they're moving. The stabilization system is so advanced it rivals professional camera gimbals, keeping the board level regardless of rider movement. Operating the Arca-board happens 2 ways. Download the app, connect via Bluetooth, and tilt your phone in the direction you want to travel. The board follows those commands with remarkable precision. Or skip the phone entirely, step on, and control it with body weight shifts like a traditional hoverboard. Lean forward to move ahead, lean back to slow down, shift your weight left or right to turn. The sensors detect these movements and adjust the fan speeds instantly to maintain balance and direction. The flight time currently maxes out at 6 minutes per charge, which is the main limitation. 6 minutes doesn't get you far, but it's enough to experience genuine hovering and understand what personal levitation feels like. The Arca-board proves that Back to the Future's vision wasn't completely impossible. It just needed better battery technology and a lot of engineering to become real.
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.